What's going on, everyone? In this video, I want to talk about the concept of the phrase, the weights don't get easier, you just get stronger. So when I was powerlifting about 5 years ago, I remember hearing that phrase from multiple people. I believe it could have been Mike Rashid or Stan Efferding or maybe even the Barbell Medicine guys, but I remember hearing this notion of you just get stronger. And I think that's a very important mindset to have, right? Because I think the idea that everyone likes to go through when they're running and training and trying to better themselves in any capacity is this notion that, okay, it's really hard today, but it'll get easier tomorrow. I would challenge that mindset and say, you don't necessarily want it to get easier, you want to get stronger, you want to get more fit. And I think that's a very important change in your own dialogue that you have internally, because when you change that mindset, it puts you in the driver's seat. It makes you less of I really don't want to use this word, but it's the only word I can think of right now. It really takes you out of that victim mindset, or you're on the wrong end of the spectrum, and putting you in the driver's seat of, I am getting stronger, I am getting more fit. And it's a really important concept because I think a lot of the times people really like the idea of, okay, I've put in the work, how come it's not getting easier? So what do I mean? Is that, so for example, when you first go into the gym or when you first start running, let's say for example, your paces are 12, 13 minutes per mile. Your pace will inevitably drop over time, and that's due to you getting more fit. Running does have some skill components to it, and you will get faster. Your easier runs will get easier, your daily miles, we'll say. But when we start looking at the other end of the spectrum, when we start looking at, okay, what are your times going to look like? What is it going to look like if you're running a tempo or a threshold? By virtue of it being a tempo or a threshold, it's going to be difficult. You are going to be uncomfortable during certain portions of your running training progression. And that's natural. And it's something that you should embrace, because that's where, when you find that edge, that discomfort, that's where a lot of the growth really happens. And that's something I want to talk about at a later point when we start talking about things like tapering, down weeks, things of that nature, because the point of all of this, I believe, is the value of pushing yourself. And when you realize that I'm pushing myself not so things get easier, but so that I actually get stronger, it empowers you in a very different way. It's like the saying, don't survive it, thrive in it. For example, when I was out on my run today, it was pretty rough. It's very humid. As you can probably tell from the shirt I'm wearing, I'm probably still sweating, but I don't want to think of, I just need to survive, I just need to get through it. What if we took that embracing mindset? What if we told ourselves, I'm going to thrive? And that immediately changes the way you posture yourself. It immediately changes the way that you're perceiving the struggle that you are choosing to go through with running. And I think it's just a very important thing to embrace. And so once you adopt that mindset, as you evolve over time, it's a lot less of, hey, running's easy for me now, or it's getting easier because I'm in better shape. I mean, that is a benefit, especially what we'll call newbie gains when you first start the process of running. But over time, that will change into you getting stronger. So for example, I used to struggle running under 9-minute miles, especially when I'd taken time off from running and I got up to 240 pounds. And so at first, I was like, oh man, I can't wait until I lose this weight and running gets easy again. And then I lost the weight. I lost 40 pounds. And I remember at a certain point thinking to myself, when I had first made that big milestone of dropping 40 pounds, I was like, how come my workouts aren't getting easier? How come even sometimes my daily mileage, although my paces are a little bit faster, they don't necessarily feel any easier. Like it's easier to hit a pace, but the daily miles are still the daily miles, and you're still accumulating fatigue over time. And then I realized, oh, it's because it's not supposed to be necessarily just getting easier. It's just that I'm getting stronger, I'm getting more fit. And I think that's something that everyone can really benefit from. Even in your day-to-day life, I think it's really important, that a lot of people think that life is something to struggle through. And, there's a point where you make it, quote unquote, and things get easier. I don't believe that to be the case at all. I think a lot of it comes down to you're getting stronger, you're getting mentally sharper, you're learning new things, you're challenging yourself. You're not taking any L's, you're just learning lessons. And I believe that is what life is about. And that's why I believe running and the discipline of the daily ritual is a microcosm of life. So with that being said, what are your thoughts on that? Is the point of running and all of the challenges we go through to make life easier, or is it so that we get stronger? Would love to know your comments down below. And if you like these kinds of videos, please like and subscribe. I'll be putting out more content like this, and I hope you guys have a nice day, and we'll talk soon.